is nothing more irritating than a squeaky or creaky wood floor. We had a great question come in via email asking how do you fix them? Let me show you how to do it.
Now it's time for the Neighborhood Connection.
Squeaky and noisy floors can be a battle inside your house. It can be really irritating as a homeowner, but there's some easy ways to fix it without having to tear the floor up. So if you've got a crawl space or basement below it and you've got access, it's pretty easy to see where it is and you can fix it down below. But most people don't have that access. I found a way that you can do this from the top side through the carpet, hardwood, or vinyl, and fix it once and for all. So the first thing you need to do is figure out where the problem is. And you can walk across the floor, but you need to find out where those floor joists are. And the easy way is just to grab a hammer and start knocking on the floor to see where it is. Now, if you've got hardwood, be careful, you can damage it. So maybe get a rubber mallet or something like that so you don't dent the floor. But you can just use your ear and listen for it. Same thing here. More solid means the floor joist is probably right there. And then make sure you don't have any plumbing and things like that. But in most cases, that's going to be way farther down, so you'll be fine with that. So if you've got, for instance, a hardwood floor like this right here, there's an easy way to do this. And so this kit that you buy comes out here with these different pieces. And they give you even 2 bits here that you can kind of explore and drill down through to see if you can find it. That way you know where those floor joists are. But here's the cool thing. I'll get one of these screws out and I'll show you. What these do, these are designed to snap off down here and leave the head. And that way that goes away and it makes for a very discreet little hole to tighten things up. So after you figured out where the floor joists are, you got them marked with tape. Now you can come in here and figure this out. So the first thing you do for hardwood, and I know my floor joist is on the end right here, is I'm going to come in here like this and take a screw and sink this down through. And I'm going to go right through this smaller one. But first we're going to drill a hole through it so we know where we're going. And that way we don't break the screw off too early because we hit hardwood or something else. So we're going to go down through here. Got that marked. We're going to go about 2 1/4 inches down. You go a little farther, that's okay. We just want to make sure to get that far so we don't bind that out. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here, find that hole, and we're going to sink this screw down, and it should snap off right at the right location. And this guide is what keeps it from overdriving on this. All right, that's broken off, nice and flush, little wood filler, it's good to go. Next up, we tackle the vinyl floor. All right, with vinyl floor, we're gonna do the same type of thing, but we're gonna use this other side. It's the same thing you'd use if you had a softwood floor as well. So we're gonna line this up and we're gonna pre-drill that. Let me mark that. Got that marked, and let's drill this down that same 2 1/4 inches. This is also how you make sure that you've hit that floor joist, because you'll just keep going. If it plunges through, you'll have to move over and hit the next spot. So now this one's slightly different. We're going to come over here and use the taller side of this. I'm going to get this lined up in the hole. Same bit. Let's go down here and sink this down. All right. Now we take this off, and there is a keyway here on the side of this. And we're going to go over here, slide our screw in, get this in here, and then we're going to snap this off, just like that. And now that's snapped off below the surface. We've attached those two together, and you've done it through the vinyl floor. Now next, we're going to tackle the biggest one, and that's carpet. All right, with carpet, we got to be a little bit more careful here, and I'll show you why. Because the problem with carpet is it's woven together, and if we use a regular drill bit through this, we can snag it, and it'll pull it back and destroy the carpet, and you got a bigger problem. So we're going to use our little bit right here that you can use for diving into finding that, and it just has threads at the very end, so we're not worried about snagging it. So I'm going to take our little spot finder here, and I'm going to go through the middle of this. That's right over the top of that joist. And then I'm going to start this. Okay, I made it through that. I'm going to get that out of the way here and just go down and drill through that again. right in that same spot. It's in the hole. Let's drive this in. That is down. Let's see if I can break this off. If not, they gave me a tool over here to do. And you can never tell that was there, and you did it right through the carpet without having to remove it. Now that is exactly how you take that squeak out of those floors. Sometimes taking apart a project can be harder than even building it back up again when you're dealing with stripped screws. We had a great question come in via Facebook about how to remove them. Let me show you my tricks to keeping that project moving along. All right, in my opinion, there's nothing that slows down a project like a stripped out screw or bolt. And I'm going to show you my secrets to get these things out so you can keep that project moving ahead. So if you've got a lag bolt or something like that, and you get in here, it's not going anywhere. And there's an easy button that I use, and these are these Apex bits. Now they've got a special head on the inside that's meant to grab a hold of those type of things, and it helps you get them out. So before we get the pliers on here, and that's one of the hardest things with pliers, I'm gonna destroy this trying to get these on the outside of this. It's hard to protect it. This should be the easy way of doing it. And this is kind of the easiest one to get out, in my opinion, until they came out with these bits. So I'll lock this in. Let's see how it does. There we go. Now, you're going to have to fight getting it out of there. But you can see this was a completely stripped out screw head, and it came right out. So that's the easiest one. The harder ones are these Phillips screws right here, or any kind of a bit where it's stripped out the inside of it. And I'll show you how I deal with that. My favorite here is to come in, and when I know I can't get in here, I've got my screw. It's just stripping out. It's not doing anything. It's done. So what I do is make sure I get my safety goggles out, and I'm going to drill the inside of this out and then use a screw extractor bit. And what this does, it has a special kind of helical spin on the inside of this. And so when I put it in the reverse, it's going to try to grab that and pull it out like its own little bit. So what I do is come in the middle here, and I want to drill the inside of this to be able to get that bit down there and have it something to grab a hold of. So I'll come in here just slowly. That should be enough to get that opened up. So let's see how this goes. Now we'll put our screw extractor bit in here. All right, I've got it, so I'm up a little bit. So now I'm going to come in here and see if we can get it with the needle nose pliers. Making progress. All right, I'm happy with this. Now, one other trick, too, is if you're trying to get underneath between two pieces of wood like that, another thing you can do is to grab your multi-tool with a metal blade and just get underneath it and cut it off and abandon it. And then you could put another screw in right next to it to hold it together. But if that's a finished product, then it's not going to work for you, and you're going to have that stripped out screw hiding at it. So really, this is going to be your best option of just taking this screw out. There we go. There we go. Got them separated. Now this project can move forward. And that's how you fix a stripped out